The way we consume and share news today, it is largely rooted in social media outlets, a reason why it's crucial to look at what's being discussed online, from the hottest issues to trends for our daily social media minute. We're now joined by Erica. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, finally.
I know, right, everyone? All right, Erica, let's keep up with the Olympic Games. Now, why would an Olympic athlete, an Italian boxer namely, be inclined to tap out just 46 seconds into a high-profile game? Well, here's your answer, everyone.
Yeah, so 46 seconds into the women's 66 kilogram boxing event that took place yesterday, Italian boxer Angela Carini abandoned her fight against her opponent, the Algerian boxer Imane Khelif. Now, the fight has sparked huge controversy at the Olympics and across social media. And to give you a bit of background about why this is such a controversy, Khelif is one of two boxers who were permitted to fight at the Olympic Games, despite being disqualified from the Women's World Championships last year for failing gender eligibility tests. So Khelif and Lin Yuting of Taiwan were disqualified from the 2023 Women's World Championships after DNA tests proved that they had XY chromosomes. And the decision at the time was made by the International Boxing Association.
But as you know, the Olympics is not run by the International Boxing Association. In fact, those who call the shots at the Olympics is probably the IOC.
Yeah, so the IOC earlier confirmed that it's happy for both athletes to compete under the less strict gender eligibility rules that were in place for the Tokyo Games in 2021. The IOC spokesperson, Mark Adams, said that everyone competing in the women's category is complying with the competition eligibility rules. He said, quote, "They are women in their passports, and it is stated that is the case." Now, he did concede that rules regarding who should compete in the female category were complex, especially when it comes to those who had undergone male puberty. So in really highly charged scenes at the boxing arena yesterday, a first punch from Khelif dislodged Carini's chin strap. A second punch smashed against her chin and bloodied her shorts. And after multiple punches, the Italian boxer returned to her corner and raised her hand.
That's not necessarily a most common sight, like 40 seconds into a boxing match in this event, right? So Carini is seen falling to her knees, sobbing, and refused to shake her opponent's hand after the Algerian was declared the winner. I think that image is something that's been splashed across many headlines.
That's right. So Carini was clearly very upset. Now, she told reporters after the match that she is heartbroken, that she went to the ring to honor her father, but she preferred to stop for her health. She said, "I have never felt a punch like this. I'm going out with my head held high, regardless of the person in front of me, which doesn't interest me, regardless of all the controversy. I just wanted to win. I wanted to face the person that I had in front of me and to fight." And she also added that it was not up to her to judge whether Khelif should have been barred from the competition. Yeah. Now, later on, Khelif was quoted by the BBC as saying after the match, she said, "I am here for gold. I will fight anybody. I will fight them all." Now, regarding this very highly controversial map, there are a whole bunch of competitions taking across the social media platform on YouTube. Reem Al-Salem, who is the UN Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women and Girls, has expressed her concern on social media about what happened. She said, quote, "Angela Carini rightly followed her instincts and prioritized her physical safety, but she and other female athletes should not have been exposed to this physical and psychological violence based on their sex."
As you can imagine, this is a continuously divisive topic. There's a reason why the International Boxing Committee has something different to say than the IOC. Now the conversation continues news. Meanwhile, I'm just not too fond of the nasty things that are being said to either athletes or the organizing body, right? That's not helpful. But all right, that's not the finality of it. I think the Paris Games is very committed to being inclusive, but how do you define the games? What is fair? I mean, these are still legitimate questions.
That's right.
All right, on to our second buzzword this morning. So we mentioned on the segment before that meals and snacks were to be stopped by Korean Air maybe 20 to 30 minutes before they start landing. Now with the continuous risk of turbulence, Korean Air is saying no more instant noodles for passengers. And I can imagine not everyone's happy about that.
And actually, surprisingly, a lot of people are actually on board with their decision and the reason behind this decision, but we'll get to that in a bit. So from August 15th, Korean Air is going to stop serving instant cup noodles to economy class passengers. It said that the increased risk of turbulence, the narrow aisles, and passengers sitting closely together could mean that burn incidents could occur more frequently. Business and first class flyers are going to continue to be served this treat.
Okay, so the snack has long been a passenger favorite. Someone next to you orders it, and it kind of creates
It's the smell, it's the scent.
It brings people together. But something the carrier is widely known for as well. So it's iconic. So to turn away from that, it's also a risk because, as you've alluded to, maybe the customers are okay with it now, but it was still a risk for Korean Air to dabble with it. And many praise the fact that it is available for free on request, though.
Yeah, you're sort of like dozing off, and then it's in the middle of the night, it's dark, and then you get that waft of,
Inviting warm soup.
Yeah. And then you're like, should I?
Maybe I need that too.
Yeah, exactly. So in a recent statement, Korean Air said that since 2019, just 5 years ago, the number of times turbulence had occurred on its flights had doubled, which is actually quite concerning, right? It's worrying. Now, in the economy class, several cups of noodles are all served at once on a tray. So, they go around with the tray with a bunch of hot noodles, and should a turbulence occur, it could pose a lot of risks, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I also mentioned that the passengers are closely seated together compared to the business class and first class passengers. But anyways, in the business and first class, these cup noodles are brought individually to the passengers. So
in a bowl, usually.
Yeah, exactly. And that reduces the likelihood of spillage in the event of a turbulence. So what does that mean going forward? No more cup noodles for the passengers in the economy class. But the snack is going to be replaced with other options like sandwiches, corn dogs, pizza, and Hot Pockets.
I've seen burritos. Like, that's good.
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so they'll have other snacks, but I guess because it's nostalgic, it's been there for a while. I assume that not everyone would be happy with it, but I guess it depends on what kind of turbulence you've seen with your own eyes. Because I've done the dance too, like pick everything up and try to sway with the turbulence. It's never successful, but it is more frequent. There's data that supports that. How are people actually responding to the news, Erica?
So it's just sparked a whole bunch of discussion on social media. Some users have expressed relief. Others pointed out that the carrier was still serving other items that could cause burns. For example, one person pointed out an obvious conundrum. Aren't coffee and tea also hot? Yes.
But think, that's a fair point. But don't touch the coffee. Why would you even raise that question? Don't take away what is not
very
broken.
Personal opinion, Lena.
Absolutely. Do not take away the coffee. But that's a fair point, right? There are other hot things on the menu, not to mention for dinners and lunches. There's a famous miyeokguk or seaweed soup. That's hot too.
That's right. If you remember, not too long ago, back in May, Singapore Airlines said it would stop serving hot drinks and meals during turbulence as part of its more cautious approach. The decision came after a 73-year-old British passenger died and dozens of people were injured when one of its flights encountered severe turbulence over Myanmar, and the flight was eventually diverted to Thailand. Now, according to research, turbulence is one of the most unpredictable of all weather phenomena, and also severe turbulence is becoming more frequent with climate change. I mean, you look outside the window, whenever turbulence happens, I always look outside the window just to make sure that the weather is okay. And even if it's like completely sunny and clear outside, there can be severe turbulence. And this is the scary part. Nobody can, expect it or, predict it in advance.
It's actually really complex to figure out, even with all the weather predictions and the technology out there. But you're right to say that it is increasingly more frequent. We interviewed a turbulence expert and I asked him, would airlines be inclined to change routes, ground flights if it gets more severe? And he said no. Because it is about cost, and based on their expert review, it's not life-threatening. Of course, they would ground the flight if it is life-threatening, but for now, anyway, it's not.
I know that it's not life-threatening. I know all of this,
but it's scary.
It's still scary, especially after coming across more and more news like this.
Yeah. You're right.
Of severe turbulence, I get worried.
And you're a traveler. The only tip I got out of him, and I had to like squeeze him. I'm like, give me some tips. You have to give passengers something. And he said, try to book a flight that's closer to the wings of the plane, and you'll feel less of the turbulence. That's where they try to find the balance. Get it?
Thank you for that.
That's the only tip I got.
Okay.
All right, Erica, let's move on to our final buzzword today. A U.S. minor league. That's right. An American minor league team was seen wearing a uniform inscribed with the word kimchi written in Hangeul. What's the story?
That's right. So the Montgomery Biscuits, that's the name of the minor league team, changed its mascot for a day to kimchi on July 16th. So the team's jerseys had kimchi written in Korean, and on the back of the jersey was an image of a cabbage leaf that is used to make kimchi.
Honestly, Erica, biscuits to kimchi, it's just a little bit far removed. I'm going to need you to connect the dots there. Yeah, absolutely.
The team, the Biscuits, are based in Montgomery, Alabama. The Hyundai Motor Company set up a factory there in 2005. More and more companies related to Korea are entering the city, in fact. Montgomery also has a growing population of Korean residents. And on July 16th, the Biscuits held the Korean Heritage Night event in Montgomery to sort of enhance ties with the Korean community and to promote Korean culture. They did this jointly with the nonprofit Alabama Korea Education and Economic Partnership. The Biscuits Stadium that day on July 16th sold a bunch of kimchi-related snacks like kimchi nachos, hot dogs, and even kimchi mandu. Yeah. And the jerseys that the players wore on the field were put up for auction online, and kimchi uniforms and T-shirts with kimchi characters drawn on them were also sold on the team's official website. Now, Biscuits general manager Mike Murphy said that for him, food is one of the most important pieces of culture, and the Korean Heritage Night is also going to be held next year.
All right. It just sounds fun and delicious. Yes. I wonder, kimchi nachos, I mean, that you couldn't go wrong with that because you're just using it as relish essentially on both the nachos and hot dogs.
Yeah. And there's something, I don't know, I just kind of did a double take, these American baseball players like on the field, and they're wearing these bright orange uniforms, jerseys, and splashed across the jersey is in really large letters, by the way. Kimchi. What's going on here?
I wonder who chose to font. I have a bone to pick. It's just so aggressive. But hey,
loud to it.
You know what? You couldn't read it as anything else. So maybe that's what they wanted. Something so obviously crystal clear. Right. Kimchi written in Hangeul. Just the fact that it was Montgomery and it was the Biscuits, I think that adds to the fun of it. From biscuits to kimchi, now you have the full scope of the story. Thank you so much, Erica. Have a great
weekend.
You too. If you're listening to our program using the podcast service, just a reminder that we do go live Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Korea Standard Time. So tune in and help us make the show more informative by giving us your input. See you bright and early on Good Morning Seoul.